You are now listening to a Faulty Tone Special. Welcome, listener. You are now listening to Big Dudes with Issues. My name is Faulty Tones, and this is my special guest, Momma B. Momma B, why don't you go ahead and say hi to everybody?
Hi, fans. How are you?
We got a couple questions. Yeah. We're doing this as a Faulty Tone Special. Faulty Tone Special.
Oh my God, it's about to be so live.
I'm crunk. If you were in a position where someone you really cared about, someone that you love and basically couldn't live without, what if they had something in their body that could cure the entire race, but they had to die in order for everybody to get the cure? Would you let them do that?
No.
Why not?
Because I love them and I want them to stay alive.
But what about the rest of us?
Well, it depends on what the circumstances is. Like if it's in Alien, Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Okay, and we have something that stops, I don't know.
It stops us from, living
from
on.
Turning.
From turning, okay. Yeah.
Okay, from turning. To stop us from turning, then I have to have the consent of my loved one, and they have to convince me of why they think it's important. Because I'm not, when you talk about giving up your loved one, you're talking about giving a part of your heart, and you'll never see them again.
Yeah, but what about the other people you're going to meet?
I don't know the other people.
They could possibly replace that person.
When I think about... No, they can't replace them. They can never replace them. Because when I think about it, like, when you think about The Walking Dead, are you thinking about any type of situation where the world is, most of the population is dead because of a disease that's spread on, and you can find a cure or some kind of vaccination that can keep the regular people who haven't turned not be affected by what have happened? When you look at those regular people, they're crazy. If you look at the movies and you just look and you take away the people that's already crazy, the ones that already turned, that's trying to kill everybody else, then you have that group of people that's violent. And those are normal people. They haven't been infected, but they're wild and they're crazy. So, and people are selfish. So why can't I be selfish with mine?
Well, think about it. If you have people that are nice people, do they get overshadowed by those who are mean, who want to, start their own community, build a hierarchy for the people that are alive so they can live on and build a new type of community? It might, even through all the killing and the sacrifices, something good could come from it.
Okay, I'm going to just start some statistics. Okay, you have the dead people, which is more than half of the population. Mm-hmm. Then you have the hateful people that want to take over, and these are the people you would normally throw in jail.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you have the nice people. Mm-hmm. The nice people statistic would be very, very low compared to both groups.
Yeah.
So therefore, the nice people, how nice are you when you're also killing too?
Yeah.
How nice are you when you're looking out for yourself?
Yeah.
Shouldn't I look out for myself and my beloved one?
Yeah. But that loved one is less than the statistic of all the rest of the statistics.
So then they just die out.
But nonetheless, they are still the kind of person who would beat the odds. And by beating the odds, they would help us stay alive and not turn into, either a zombie or a disease, sick human being.
I would still say no. They have to find somebody else for the cure because I'm not willing to get. Love is a strong thing, and love is a very strong thing.
Yeah,
and when you love somebody, it's very difficult to let them go to death.
Yes.
You can let them go in a relationship, like to move on, but death, that's a bigger thing.
Yeah.
And if I let you go to death, I won't see you anymore. And that small population means nothing to me because I don't know them.
Yeah. Well, what if they could? What if there's somebody out? Because there's, as of right now, there's somebody for everybody.
Right.
And who's to say that if the person you care about decides to make that sacrifice, in the grand scheme of things, it's probably because there might be somebody else out there that can, not necessarily fill their shoes, but replace them as far as giving you another person to deal with.
Okay, this is the way I see it. Birds are replaceable. Cats and dogs are replaceable, even though some people don't think so. Cats and dogs are replaceable. People are not replaceable.
It's apocalyptic era, so you probably wouldn't have the technology to get their consciousness and put it into another person or another thing. If you had that option, would you?
No, because consciousness, when you think about that, you're thinking about a spiritual thing. And when you think about consciousness, that's part of a spiritual thing. So I can take your spirit and put it in somebody else's body, and I can still deal with you according to your spirit and your consciousness, but I can't deal with, I'm looking at a different face. And physicality is very important. It's like, if my mom passed away, which she did already, my mom passed away, and I could take her consciousness and her spirit and put it in somebody else's body, and I could still have her. Yeah, I have her consciousness, but her consciousness got on my nerves sometimes. Okay? Her spirituality is something for God. Okay? But the physical part, I'm looking at this person. You sound like my mom. You think like my mom. You do things like my mom, but you're not my mom. Physically, you're not my mom. So, no, no, because the physical part, a lot of people don't pay attention to this, but the physical part makes a very, very important decision in what you're doing. So if I was to sacrifice my beloved, I'm not seeing them anymore. Their consciousness and their spirituality, I don't really deal with their spirituality unless I'm looking at them physically. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm not dealing with them. Their consciousness means nothing when I'm looking at somebody else. All I can say is you act like my daughter, or you act like my son, or you act like my father, but you don't look like them, so I can blow you away. I don't have to pay attention to you. So no, my beloved is staying right here with me. Y'all got to go find somebody else, because I'm quite sure if my beloved have a cure, there's somebody else to have a cure. My beloved need to stay with me, especially through an apocalypse.
Yeah, because I would feel the same way if I was dealing with a person, consciousness that I put into my alarm system. You know what I'm saying?
Then they're trapped.
Yeah. Or if I stick their consciousness onto a 2x4, and I was and I had headphones, and I was in the apocalyptic world, and the only way I could listen to them is unless I had headphones, is I have them attached to a 2x4. So I get what you're saying. Looking at the 2x4 is like, well, there's nothing you can do to me.
Right.
You can't grab me. There's nothing physically that you can do that I would find worthwhile of paying attention to. So I see how I can see it. I can see what you're saying. I promised myself that I would protect my loved ones at one point, but I have to disagree with the decision of not sacrifice somebody that wanted to be sacrificed. Like if somebody I cared about said, you know what, I think this is the best thing to do, or this is the best decision I can make possibly for society. And society is bad. People rape each other, kill each other, rob from each other, and they definitely have no sense of compassion at sometimes. But when you deal with those people are nonetheless a populated group that is being helped to change. So there's people who are seeing that there's something mentally wrong that can be fixed. So if there is, then if the person I love decided to say, you know what, I'm willing to give myself up to save the entire planet or the entire world, then I'd be like, hey, that's your decision. I'm gonna miss you. But
So if your wife said that, you would give her up.
if she said she wanted to,
And you have children.
yeah, I have children. I just keep it real with her. Like, hey, baby, I love you, but you died, and
Really, bye, babe.
I'm gonna have to get somebody else. I don't know what type of woman you think is gonna be around your kids, but
See, that's the thing about it. We can't replace each other.
to me, it's not about replacing. It's not about replacing. Sometimes, if you have a different brand or bike, and I'm not saying that a human being, it can be compared to an animal or an object, but the type of emotion, the type of feeling I get from buying new things or having new things, it's almost similar in a sense. If I get a divorce, my wife divorces me. She decides to divorce Faulty Tones, and when she makes that decision, I have a choice. I can stay by myself or find somebody else, and Lord willing, that I find somebody that I'm willing to marry again.
Yeah, but you know something about that? When you talk about your wife or my husband, and you talk about marrying again, it takes a long time to meet your match.
This wisdom talk to me now. Mama B's dropping some wisdom, some knowledge.
It's like, okay, when you met your wife, it took a long time before you decided that this is her. This is my mate. Okay? So then if you give up that beloved one, it's going to take you that much longer to find the next person that can fill those shoes. You have to go through, when you're single, you have to go through so many frogs. You have to kiss so many frogs before you find the prince. So you back at step one. That's why a lot of people, when they break up, they don't want to break up because they feel like they invested so much in that relationship and they don't want to start all over. So when you're talking about giving up when we're talking about giving up your beloved one, that's a serious issue. One time my aunt said to me, she said, when I die, I want to be cremated, and I need you to do it. And I said, what? Yeah, I want you to make sure I'm cremated. I can't do that. I'm not comfortable with that. That's against my moral beliefs. And she said, well, I'm putting you down so you can do that. No, you have to put somebody else down. Because sometimes other people's morals and their values of what they want for themselves do not agree with yours. And you have to make a conscious decision whether you can follow through on somebody's death wish. So if we're talking about the beloved one and the beloved one wants to give up their life to save humanity, you better be able to convince me really, really good. Now, if we're talking about zombies and Walking Dead, the situation is really, really bad. So you might be able to convince me to go ahead and let you sacrifice your life so that the smallest population can thrive. Nevertheless, you better I can understand that because I wouldn't even want to be there. But then that means that I'm going to be there by myself, and you're gone. So if I'm going to be, and if it's my husband and he's gone, and I'm going to be there by myself, there's my protector. So now I have to fight the zombie. No, and what if it doesn't work? What if what you're giving up to sacrifice to these people do not work?
Well, now if you say that, then it's gonna be like, well, oops,
we're not doing oops. That's my beloved.
Mistakes were made.
No. You gotta find somebody. That's why I said, if my husband or my beloved person is able to sacrifice themselves, and it works, then it's great. But what if it doesn't work? So I really think that we need to go back on to the clipboard and find somebody else. Because I'm not willing. I'm just not willing. I just can't.
Yeah, well, to me, it's kind of frustrating. It's very confusing because if you see something that's wrong with the whole, save the whole world then you have every right to challenge